All right, good morning everyone. This is Nick Roush, and today we're going to go ahead and begin Saturday training. And the purpose of this training is introductory training that will walk you through the Auto Trader, get you more familiar with all of the features and everything that we have in the Auto Trader. So we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 9 o'clock, and we'll go ahead and start off. For those of you that are new and just have purchased your Auto Trader, I'd like to talk to you about a couple of things. By this point, you should know that you've got a couple of important icons here: the Launch Start Strategy Wizard and the Launch Start CoolTrade. So just to talk about these two for a second here, the Launch Start Strategy Wizard is the back end of the system. When you double click on this tab, what that's going to do is it's going to bring up the back end of the system, and this is what's called the gateway to the strategy wizard. And you're going to see some different strategies here, and you're going to go ahead and put a check mark next to the one that you want. So we've got, the Dow long for simulating 20,000, Dow long for simulating 50,000, Dow long for simulating 100,000. These are great templates that come with the system for simulating and educational purposes. This is just a great place to get started. It's going to trade Dow stocks like Microsoft, GE, Pfizer, Merck, etc. And we'll get into the strategy wizard some more, but just go ahead and put a check mark next to the one that you want to go ahead and start with, and then you can begin simulating right away. So then once you do that, you're going to click Exit, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click Launch Start CoolTrade, and then what that's going to do is bring up your broker login screen. So if you don't have an account with one of our broker partners, you're going to just go ahead and start simulating without a broker here. So we've got Simulate Without a Broker checked here, and this is data that CoolTrade is going to provide to you that's coming down from the NASDAQ and the NYSE. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here, and we're going to kind of flip back and forth between a couple of traders today. I've got some videos that I've done over the last couple of months, and on Saturdays, unfortunately, we don't get data from the exchanges, so we're going to go ahead and flip back and forth between some videos and the trader here. So I'm going to go ahead. Once you log in, then you're going to see this particular screen, and this is just going to show you that it's logging into the system and it's opening up the Auto Trader, and that's what's happening here. And should be coming up in just a moment. And we're going to kind of flip back and forth between a couple different screens. I'm also going to talk about some concepts so that you can understand more what the Auto Trader is going to be doing for you. And we'll look at some different stocks and symbols today that I think will help you understand, actively trading these stocks and money management a little bit. So, all right, so everything is loading up here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this video, and I'm going to go ahead and click pause there. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off by looking at the Auto Trader, and we're going to kind of walk through each one of the boxes and just get you familiar with all of the buttons and the functions and features. So the first box over here to the left, this is going to give you your start times, your stop times for your particular strategy. So if you're running a long strategy, it's going to give you the start times and stop times here. If you're running a short strategy, it's going to give you your start times and stop times here. And what a short strategy is, and we do not suggest that anybody starts off running a short strategy. It's better to start in simulation mode with just a long strategy so that you can get a feel for the Auto Trader. So a long strategy, just to clarify for those of you that don't understand, means that you're buying a stock with the expectation that it's going to go up. When you run a short strategy, it's just the opposite of that. You're running a short strategy with the expectation that the stocks are going to go down, and you have the ability to profit from those stocks when they go down. So That's the first one. This one that we're going to be talking about today is just a long-only strategy, and we'll go through that in just a moment. So there's your start times and stop times. Down below, you'll see where it says max trades, and what that means is we've told the auto trader that we only want to buy up to 7 stocks. And you can see down below where it says positions, you can see 7. And that the robotic trader, it's a setting, and I'll get to that in the strategy wizard, where we just tell the robotic trader how many stocks you can go out and buy. So the next one down below is symbols. So what this refers to is the watch list, and the watch list is down below here, and the open positions, and there's a rule in here. This particular strategy is only looking at the Dow 30 stocks, and this particular one is looking at Dow 30 stocks that are less than $50, and there's actually 15 of them, and the auto trader is looking at those 15 stocks, and we'll get into that and look at that in just a few minutes. So this second box here is just going to give you some quick market, just kind of a quick glance at the market. So on this particular day, the Dow was down 50, the NASDAQ was down 7, the S&P was down 3, and the E-minis, which is the futures, were down 8. So that box is just going to give you a quick glance, a quick look at what's going on with the market. Is the Dow up? Is the Dow down? So you can see that on your trader there. Okay, so the next one is the toggle screen. This is not one that folks use very often, but let me flip over to the trader here. And we'll go ahead and look at the toggle screen. I'll just launch it up again. Okay, so I'll have to show you that in a second. We're not getting the data, so things move a little slower on the weekend, so my apologies for that. I'm going to go ahead and reload it up here. Just a minute. All right, so I've got that. So while that's loading up, let's look over to the right here. Over to the right, we're going to have account value, connectivity, show charts, show trades, and system activity. So current account value is going to tell you where you stand. So if you started with 50,000, and this one did about a year ago, this one started with 50,000 and it's now up to 63,825, just trading 7 Dow stocks that are less than $50. And you'll see the next box here, funds allocated. What that means is how much stock do we own? So funds allocated, 30,783. All of these positions here, the 7 stocks that this robotic trader has purchased, all of these in that middle section total up to $30,783. So that's how much stock we own. Now you might be asking, well, if you have 63,825, for current account value, why don't you buy more stocks? Well, the reason is very simple. The market is at all-time highs. Now, we don't want to be fully allocated, and that's this particular strategy, but for this particular strategy, we don't want to be fully allocated and have all of our money in the market at the top. We want to wait for a correction and wait for the market to come to us. We never want to, throw all of our funds out and be in what we call prey mode. So we're in a perfect situation here when the market pulls back to be able to buy more stock at a discount. The key when you're running an auto trader is really to always be in the game, always be buying and selling. And that's exactly what this auto trader is set up to do. So let's look at this next column here, which is funds available. And you'll see it says 87,293. Now, the reason it says 87,293 is because this particular one is it has the margin box checked. So it has 2-to-1 margin checked. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with margin, what that means is if you set up an account with TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, MB Trading, E-Trade, any of our great broker partners, if you open up an account with $50,000, they will essentially give you a line of credit for an additional $50,000, which will give you $100,000 worth of buying power to purchase stocks with. So, you know, we don't typically use the margin unless the market really drops. Then we'll consider using the margin. But, you know, it's completely up to you. But, you know, that's just a quick example of what the, you know, quick definition of what the margin is. Okay, so let's move on, and let's go ahead and look at this middle section here. Actually, let me check this. Let's go ahead and pull this up. My computer's not cooperating with me today. Just give me a moment here. All right, so let's look at this middle section here, and we'll go through each one of these. All right, so the first column here is the symbol column. So this column here is actually going to tell us which stocks we own. So this first one here, you'll see AA, and what that is the ticker symbol for Alcoa. The second one here is MSFT. Everybody should be familiar with that one. That's Microsoft. The next one is Cisco, and the next one is DuPont. So this first column here is just going to tell us which stocks we own. Now the second column here, it says side, and then it says action. And what side means is this a long position or is this a short position? And this is a long strategy here. And then action simply means what are we trying to do with that stock? And what we're trying to do here is sell that particular position. So the next column here is we've got position. And here, this is coming up again. So I don't want to close this down yet because I want this, I'd like this to come up so I can go through this with you. And you can see loading long positions, please wait. Okay. So, all right, so the next column here is position and quantity. So here we've got our position. That means the total number of shares that we have for any given symbol. So for Alcoa, we've got 300 shares, and the quantity, that just references how many shares we're buying. So this particular strategy, we're just buying 100 share lots of these particular stocks. So Alcoa at this price was $10.66. We bought 100 shares, which would be about $1,066. So we've got entry price. So we've got our next column here, average cost, and our entry price here. Average cost is going to take these three levels here. So we've got $10.66, $9.58, and $8.46, and give us the average cost. So the average cost is $9.56, and then we have the entry price, which is right here. So that's going to tell us where we bought this particular stock, and it shows us, you know, when this particular stock goes down, this particular auto trader carrying out this strategy adds more to the position. So the key is always be in the game, always be buying and selling, and that's really what this particular auto trader is set up to do. Now let's look at the limit price here. The limit price, what that references is that's what our goal is. So with this particular one, our goal is $11.16 on this particular level. Our goal on this particular one is $10.08, and at the bottom one right here, our goal is $8.96. So once we reach $8.96, this robotic trader will close out this position and take profit. Now, the next column here is called price to go. And what that reference is how far does this need to go? How far does this stock need to move before we take profit? So down below, let's just look at this box right here. It says 53 cents. So this stock needs to move 53 cents in our favor in order for us to close out that position and take profit per the profit goal on this particular strategy. Now let's look at the next one, which is position change dollar amount. So what this is showing us here is that this one has moved $2.23 against us. This one here has moved $1.15 against us. And this one here has moved 3 cents against us. These are what we call unrealized losses or inventory. So we call this inventory because these are our positions that we've not closed out yet and haven't taken profit on yet. And I'll talk about that a little more shortly. Now we've got position change percent. And in this particular column, this is going to show you where we stand on each one of these positions. So you can see this top position here, and this strategy has been running for about 13, 14 months. We're down 20%. On this particular position, we're down 12%. On this particular position, we're down 0.35%. So that just kind of gives you an idea here. You're going to have some stocks in your inventory that go down. And really what's important for you to understand is the stock market's more about what you do when you're wrong than when you're right. So, what are your options when you're wrong? When you're wrong, are you going to use a stop loss and close out the position and take the loss? Or are you going to add to that position and buy more at a discount? And these are questions that you got to ask yourself. So if you think Alcoa is going to go out of business, or Microsoft, or Cisco, or DuPont, you might want to use a stop loss. But if you believe that those stocks are going to continue to move around in a range like they've done for many, many, many years, then, you have an opportunity to buy more at a discount and always be in the game and always be buying and selling. Now let's look at the next column here. This is a really important one. This says net P&L. Now, I want everybody to understand that net P&L only references your open positions. So on this particular trader, we're down $3,399 on our open positions only. So we've got Alcoa, Microsoft, Cisco, DuPont, and a couple other ones. We're down $3,399.51. But remember that this particular auto trader started with 50,000. So what that means is this auto trader has actually taken about $17,000 in gross profit over the course of 14 months. And when you compare that to the funds being used, that's a really substantial number. And I'm going to go through that in just a few minutes here, but let's finish getting through this column. Okay, so the next one here is today's P&L, which we have here. And we were down. Today's P&L just references that day. So is the market up or is the market down? Over here you see the Dow was down 50, and today's P&L we lost $66. So it's just, are the stocks moving down or are they moving up on that particular day? So the next column here is the bid price. So we have the bid price and the ask price. Okay. So when you purchase a stock, you purchase on the ask, and when you sell a stock, you sell it at the bid price. So just so that you're clear on that. But what these two columns do is they show you the bid price and the ask price on each one of these stocks. So you've got them there. Now you've got the volume reached. This is going to show you how many shares have exchanged hands of each of these companies, and it's going to give you an updated number every minute through the course of the day. So when I did this particular video with Alcoa, there were 8,321,450 shares that exchanged hands that day so far. Microsoft, 35,697,000 shares that day at the time that I did this video. Cisco, 32 million. So these are big companies. There's a lot of shares changing hands every single day on each one of these Dow companies. DuPont, 4,801,000. Okay, so that's that column. Now let's look at the next one, change and status. So what change is going to do is going to tell you the change for the day, and then right below that where you see status, that's stealth mode. And for those of you who would like another definition or a little better understanding of stealth mode, what that means is we are not floating our orders out in public view. So the only one that knows where you stand with your positions and where you're willing to sell your stocks is you and your robotic trader. So it's all self-contained in your computer. Now, let me explain why that's important. So if you were floating limit orders out in public view, then professional traders and institutional computers would be able to see, you know, where you're willing to buy and where you're willing to sell, and they use that information to trade against. So if there was a whole group of us, say that there was 1 million people of us that were willing to sell Microsoft at a certain price, the institutional computers and the professional traders would be able to see that. So stealth mode eliminates their ability to be able to see that, and it hides all of your orders from public view. So it's really a great feature in CoolTrade. So you don't want anybody else to know what you're doing. You know, think of it as the poker example. If you're playing poker, what's the first thing that you learn? Don't show your cards to anybody else, and the stock market's the same way. Okay, so let's go ahead and look down below here. And down below what we have here is the watch list. So the watch list, what that indicates is any stocks that your robotic trader is considering purchasing, but there is a rule that is preventing it from opening up another trade. So you can see long watch list, there's 7 stocks that are on the watch list, and you can see Bank of America, JP Morgan, Coca-Cola, Merck, those types of companies down there. Then you've got minimum price, maximum price, price to go, the current bid price, the current ask price, today's volume, and today's change. Is it going up? Is it going down for the day? The robotic trader is monitoring all of that information. And then really the most important one here is rule preventing next trade. So there may be 5 rules or 10 rules or 15 rules that are preventing the robotic trader from opening up another position of or opening up a position of any one of these stocks. But what it's going to do is give you the first rule, and the first rule only, that's preventing it from opening up the next position. And you can see it says max trades 7 reached. And you can see up here we've got 7, position 7. So we told this particular robotic trader don't buy more than 7 stocks. And the robotic trader is following the rules perfectly. Okay, so let's flip back here quick. All right. So here, I opened up the robotic trader, but remember that we don't receive data on the weekends because the markets and exchanges are closed. So I wanted to flip over here so that we could look at a couple things though. So account value, I want to click on connectivity. Connectivity, what that one's going to tell you is if you lose your internet connection during the trading day, if you lose your internet connection, it's going to tell you what time it lost it and what time it was able to restore the connection on your behalf without you having to be there. So for those of you that may be in areas where your internet connection may not be perfect, then it'll tell you when it lost it and when it was able to restore it. Now let's look at show charts here. Show charts is going to show you intraday. Intraday means during the trading session what the stock is doing. So what it's going to do is if Alcoa was going down, it's going to show you you know, where it opened up, where it went down to, and it's going to show you during the day where it's at. And you can look at this little chart on any one of the symbols. Now we don't have data today, so it's not really easy to see that, but that's what show charts is. Now let's look at show trades. So show trades is just kind of a quick reference which is going to show you what stocks it's bought and what stocks it's sold during the trading day. It's really meant as a quick reference. Now let's look at system activity here. And under system activity, this is kind of neat. So the robotic trader, you can use this to do pretty much anything that you want. Back in 2005, when it was first released to the public, there were no strategies for folks to use to start simulating with for educational purposes. So everybody had to build their own strategies, and folks would really try to line up the planets and try and solve the stock market with those initial strategies. And really what the robotic trader is doing is you can see check limit orders, set active symbol data, check new position rules, check limit orders. Really what the robotic trader is a number crunching machine. So the auto trader is actually 12 programs, 5 million lines of code running simultaneously, and it's taking all the market data down, looking at up to 7,800 stocks, applying the rules of the strategy and making sense of that data and making the decisions whether or not to buy or sell those stocks. So really is an amazing number crunching machine. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at, let's go ahead and back up here. See if I can flip back to my video here. Okay, here we go. All right, what I wanted to do is go through what I want to do is I'm showing you this because I want to show you what the auto trader is doing. You can see it's processing a tremendous amount of information. This is what it looks like during the trading day. Up top here on this bar it says trading in stealth mode. And one of the things I wanted to tell you about here is if you wanted to stop trading, you can click this yellow bar, and what will happen is it'll say it'll switch it from trading in stealth mode to manual mode, and it will not do any more trades until you uncheck it. So you can just click that box there, and then the auto trader is going to stop trading automatically. But what I want to do here is we're just going to follow this through for a second, and I'd like to just kind of go through the reports on this particular one so that I can show that to you, so that you can see how to look at the reports. This is the auto trader that's got the 7 positions here, and this is the Dow 30. So this is 1/1/2012 to 3/25/2013. So I did this video just a couple of weeks ago here, but let's go ahead and look at this. I'm going to go ahead and hit pause here for a second. So this particular auto trader, if you're running the Dow 30 long strategy, for simulating to start, this one started 1/4/2012. Now I'm going to show you the power of actively trading the stocks versus buy and hold. So 1/4/2012, it opened up the very first position at 1139, and it closed that position the same day. So it closed it the same day, 1/4/2012, at 3:46 p.m. So you can see it was American Express. It was a long position, bought it at 47.78 and sold it at 48.28, and it was 100 shares. This particular strategy is just trading 100 share lots of each of these Dow 30 stocks. Now you look over to the right, and it grabbed a profit of 50 bucks. Now the second one here is DuPont. That one opened up 1/4, and it closed at 1/4 as well. It opened up at 11:12 a.m. Closed it at 3:46 p.m. Bought it at 46.48, sold it at 47.03, and it made $55. Then you can see Disney here. Opened that one up 1/4/2012, closed it at 9:50, I'm sorry, opened it at 950, closed it at 346, bought it at 38.31, sold it at 38.80, and it made $49. So it closed 3 positions the first day for around $150 in profit. Pretty good first day. Now the second day, and you will all see this happen when there's more volatility in the market, meaning when the market, when we have more volatile swings, you see the market going up 100 points and down 100 points. The auto traders are really active. So on 1.5, you can see, look at all of these positions that it closed on 1.5 here. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So you've got Merck, JP Morgan, American Express, Citi, GM, Disney, Intel, Microsoft, DuPont. So it closed out all of these positions here because the market had jumped. So the market was probably up 100 points that day, and you can see the robotic trader was right there to capitalize on that, which is great. There's nothing better than getting up in the morning, going to work, and coming home and seeing that your auto trader just made you, a couple $100. It's really a great feeling when you know that you're at work and your auto trader is plugging away for you, trading the market and taking profit every chance it gets. So let's. This is just going to go through these couple here, and then it's going to flip through to the end. But I want to spend a minute on this because, so many people are running this Dow 30 strategy. This is just a great place for simulating and educational purposes to start. Okay, so this one's going to flip through the pages here in a second. I just want you to see this. So this started 1/4/2012, and you're going to see all the pages of trades. And granted, over the last year, the market has really taken off here. But let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's look at the date here. Now, page 11. Okay, so it's taken a grand total of $17,223.16 in gross profit. Now, when you compare that to what you're actually using, and this particular auto trader is using about 32,000. It has 30,783 allocated currently, but when you compare that 17,000 figure, that's over 50% in gross profit, which is fantastic. It's averaged about 32,000 allocated over the course of the last year, but it's taken over 17,000 in gross profit. So that's over 50% in gross profit. Now, when you take that 17,000 and you subtract it from the 3,399, that gives you a profit of about 13,825. So 13,825 divided by the amount of money that you're using, if you're using 32,000, is a phenomenal return. So it's over a 40% return, which I don't know anybody in the stock market that's getting those types of returns without actively trading the stocks. So that just wanted to share that with you. All right, so now what I'm going to do is let's flip back over to this auto trader, and we're going to look at a couple other things up top here, and then we're going to take a look at the strategy wizard. So the file button, just to show you a couple of things. Community board, the View CoolTrade community board. If you need technical support and you want a real quick answer, you can post on the CoolTrade community board, and typically folks will get back to you real quick. So if you're having an issue getting through to technical support and you just want a fast answer, you can post something to the community board, and it's also a great place to learn as well. View CoolTrade manual, for those of you that haven't seen it, the manual is up here, and it's a quick reference. If you ever, have a question where something is, or want to see, where you can find something, all of the icons and everything is broken down in here. So if you want to reference back to that, you're certainly welcome to do that. All right. So let's look at a couple other things. View CoolTrade website. If you need to go there, you can. Open new brokerage account. So if you want to open up an account with TD Ameritrade or Interactive Brokers, Options House, MB Trading, any of our broker partners, you can just click on these links here and it'll take you right into there. So I just clicked on TD Ameritrade, for example. It takes you right in there and you can start filling out the application. So let's go ahead and flip through here. If you need to send an email to CoolTrade, you can do that through here. If you need to change your password for your robotic trader, you can do that here. And then log off, clear all passwords. If you want to clear your passwords and re-enter them, you can do that by using this button there. All right, let's go to blocked list here. Let's say that you're running the Dow 30 strategy, but you just don't like one of the companies that comes up on the watch list. What you can actually do is you can enter that symbol. Let's say that you didn't like GE, and you can click here to add that symbol. And then what happens is we've got a block list here. Now the robotic trader knows never to consider buying that stock. It understands that you don't want it. So it's going to follow that rule perfectly. Now conversely, if you want to take it off the list, you just click to remove selected symbol from block list. So I just removed it. So that's what the block list does if you want to block any of them manually. Exceptions folder. Now here, if your robotic trader ever has an issue where it sends an order to the broker and the broker has a problem filling it, then what's going to happen is it's going to get deposited into the exceptions folder. It's pretty rare that that happens, but if it does, you don't need to do anything unless you want to pursue it, then you could call the broker. All right, next one here is for those of you that are Jim Cramer fans, if you're following thestreet.com Action Alerts Plus, you could enter, if you're a subscriber, you could enter your username and password for Action Alerts Plus and validate, and then what will happen is when Jim suggests that you buy a stock, the robotic trader will open the position for you, and when he suggests that you sell a stock, it'll do the same thing for you. All right, so that's that one. Now let's look at personal. So personal long watch list here. So what this one is doing is if you want to add a stock to your watch list, you can do that here. So let's say that you wanted to add Facebook. So let's say that we wanted to add FB, Facebook. We click to add symbol to personal long watch list, and then what's going to happen is Facebook is going to come into your watch list. Now, one thing to really understand here is that it's very important to understand that if you put a stock in here into your watch list, the robotic trader is going to follow the rules for your existing strategy. So you're going to want to make sure that if you're going to put a stock in there that it's similarly priced to the ones that you're currently trading. And you're just going to want to make sure that the rules of your strategy make sense when applied to the stock that you're adding to your watch list. So we'll click here to remove that. All right. Now let's look at the preferences screen real quick. All right, so on the preferences screen, you don't really need to do anything with this. You don't really need to do anything with this. You don't need to do anything with this. You don't need to do anything with this. Right here, though, what you will want to do once you've accepted the CoolTrade terms and conditions is you want to make sure that these 4 boxes are all checked. If those 4 boxes are all checked, then what happens is you're auto-accepting the CoolTrade terms and conditions. And if you're using the Windows Task Scheduler to start your program every morning, that's how it starts the program for you. Then it'll make sure that there's no interference when you auto accept the CoolTrade terms and conditions. All right, up top here, if you want to check this box, you'll get an email alert when your robotic trader makes a trade. We all get enough emails in life. Where I don't recommend that you do that, especially if you're doing a couple of trades a day, but if you want to use that feature, you can. All right. Next one here, handling of odd lot shares resulting from a stock split. So what this refers to here is sell the odd lot shares. I don't want to get into this too much, but let's say that a stock splits. The robotic trader just knows how to handle that then when a stock splits. And I'm just going to leave it at that for now. All right. So then let's talk about this next one here. The robotic trader is already set up to keep you compliant with the SEC day trading rules. So for anybody that has less than $25,000 in your account, the SEC says that you can't make more than 3 round trips in a 5-day period. So what a round trip is if you buy a stock on Monday and you sell it on Monday, that's considered 1 round trip. If you buy another one on Tuesday and you sell it on Tuesday, that's another round trip. If you buy another one Wednesday and sell it Wednesday, that's another round trip. So that would be your 3 round trips in a 5-day period. But more often than not, what happens is you open a position on Monday and you close it on Tuesday. That is not considered a round trip. Or you open up a position on Monday and it closes on Thursday or Friday. That is not considered a round trip. So it's already got this all built in, everything's checked, and it's set up to keep you compliant with the SEC day trading rules. All right, so let's look at this this next box here. So if you are simulating and you want to edit any of your information, you can do that here. So if you want to use the 2-to-1 margin buying power, you just check that box, and then the robotic trader knows you want to use margin. 4-to-1 margin here, I don't really need to talk about that with you. If you were day trading, they'll give you 4-to-1 margin, which means if you set up an account with 50,000, they'll actually give you 200,000 worth of buying power to day trade with. So but the thing is with the 4-to-1 margin is you have to go back to a 2-to-1 margin at the end of the day. So you can't carry a 4-to-1 margin overnight. So that's what that one is. Reserve enough funds to purchase max shares set in the strategy. If you use this particular box, the robotic trader is going to make sure that it manages your positions and your money for you, meaning that it's going to reserve enough funds to purchase max shares set in the strategy. So if you set your strategy up to buy a maximum of 1,000 shares of Microsoft, it's going to, and you're adding on 10% drops, what it's going to do is it's going to keep enough money set aside so that you could ride Microsoft down to 0. Most people leave this unchecked because they kind of do the math themselves in their heads, and you don't need to check that, but if you want to use that feature, you could. All right. So let's look at this one here. Regardless of my account balance, CoolTrade should never utilize more than this amount. So if you want to use this feature, let's say that you're just getting started and you don't want the robotic trader to use more than, let's say, $20,000 to start. Then you would just simply set this and then the robotic trader is going to know not to use more than $20,000. Now, let's look at current account value here. While you're simulating, if you want to change your current balance, you can do that here. All you got to do is enter in the amount that you want, click OK, and then you'll see current account value here, and then it's going to show you funds allocated and funds available here. So that's how that works. So I just closed out the preferences page. Reports, we did look at that, but I'll show you one more thing too. If you want to just run a report for one stock, oftentimes what you're going to find is you're going to have certain stocks where you're just doing a ton of trades on them, and then you're going to have a handful of stocks that turn sometimes, and then you're going to have a couple of stocks that just don't seem to do anything. So if you want to look at the stocks that are really moving, you can just enter the symbol in here, and then you can run a report. So that's what that one does. Now, let's look at this one here. So when you're running a report, it says within. You can run a report for today, for the past week, the past month, or the past year. And you just select the one you want, and most people run a report for the last year and click Create Report, and then the report's going to come up. So this particular one I'm not running, but I just wanted to show you for example purposes here. Now, after you've been running your auto trader for more than a year, you're going to use the dates. So when I'm looking at the auto traders in the office here that have been running for years, we're going to look at the date that it started. So let's say 1/2010, for example, 2/4/13/2013, and then you're going to click Create Report, and it's going to generate a report with all of the trades and all the activity that you've done over that period of time. So that's how that works. All right, so the rules button here, what this is this is just a quick reference. It's going to show you the rules of your strategy, and it's going to show you the math. So open position rules, it's going to show you what the rule is, and what this one says is today's open price is greater than yesterday's close price. And then during market hours, it's actually going to show you minute by minute during the day what the calculations are on each one of these rules. Now, for those of you on the phone that want some training, but you don't really care about all of the intricacies of how everything works. You just want to have a little better understanding. I just want to make it very clear. You don't need to understand all of this. The robotic trader, you turn it on, it's going to carry out your strategy, it's going to do the work for you, and that's fine. But we also have a lot of folks that want more detail and they want more understanding of what the auto trader is doing. They want to understand the bells and whistles. So I appreciate I appreciate everybody on the training here, and folks having different levels of interest in how far down you want to drill down into the auto trader and understand it. But I'm going to try and just kind of quickly go through these. So today's current price is greater than today's open price. So what that means is these are open new position rules here. So the robotic trader is going to apply the current market data for the symbol, and it's going to do the math here, and it's just kind of a quick reference, so you'll be able to see which rules are failing in your particular strategy if it's not opening a position. Or if it does open a position, you can look at it and it's going to tell you why it opened a position. So that's really what that one is there. Sectors, what this one is here, this is pretty cool during market hours, is you can actually see the percentage of stocks up versus the percentage of stocks down minute by minute during the trading day. It's really neat to look at this. You've got 1 minute here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you've got 1 minute here, 5, 10, 15, and 30. So let me see if I can, let me just show you. I have a sector graph. I'll show you one that's up. If you go to the interactive demo, this is on the CoolTraderPro one. So here's a sector graph. This is what it would look like during the trading day. So you can see green means more than 50% of the stocks are up, and red means the percentage of stocks down. But that's what it would look like. So it's pretty interesting. You see the last minute, 63% of all stocks were up and 36% of all stocks were down. And then you see 30 minutes previous to that, you see 82% of stocks were down and 12% of stocks were up. So it's kind of interesting to look at that. You really can see the high-frequency traders moving the market back and forth during the trading day. Okay, so if you want to watch the video help, this is the original video help that Ed Barsano did. If that's helpful to you, you can tap into that. And that pretty much covers it. So that's the auto trader, and what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and look at the strategy wizard. So what I'm going to do here is I wanted to show you just concepts real quick. Okay. Just so that you can understand a little better what the auto trader is doing. So I hope this is helpful to you. Right. So all right. So here's Microsoft, and this is a chart here, okay? And this is a chart for the last 10 years. All right, so if you're running the Dow 30 strategy, Microsoft is more than likely one of the stocks that your robotic trader will purchase. But I want to just show this to explain the concepts here, okay? So the price of Microsoft 10 years ago was $24.21, and the price on 325.13, which was just 2 weeks ago, was $28.16. So over that whole period of time, 10 years, you would have made a couple of bucks. If you bought 100 shares, you would have made about $400. But that wasn't worth the time, 10 years of your life, a whole decade, to get that type of return. But Microsoft is actually, and this is just my opinion, a very good stock to trade if you have a robotic trader. So the reason is and you can set up your robotic trader to do whatever you want, but it's spent 9 of the last 10 years in a range between $25 and $30. So yes, it fell out of the range here, and there were a couple points here and a couple points here that it was out. But for the great majority of the time over the last 10 years, it's been trading in that range. So let's go ahead and look at another one here, which is JP Morgan. This one is Halliburton. This is a 5-year chart. The price 5 years ago was $39.10, and the price on 325.13 was $39.65. So from here to here, you didn't make any money. But if you were actively trading the stock and you had the robotic trader doing all of that, trading for you, there is a tremendous amount of profit in here. So let's look at the next one here, which is JP Morgan. JP Morgan is another Dow stock. So the price 5 years ago was $42.86, so over here. And the price on 325.13 was $48.52, so that's here. Now if you bought it and held it, you lost 5 years of your life and you made, $2. But if you actively traded the stock, you can see all of this activity, all of this buying and selling that your robotic trader is doing on your behalf over the 5-year period of time. There are just a tremendous amount of profits here that the robotic trader, would have taken for you. So, this is 100 shares buy and hold versus CoolTrade. Now, this is a little different strategy. This is a dollar up, dollar down strategy. But buy and hold, you made $566. CoolTrade would have traded the stock 125 times for $14,346. That's a huge difference. All right, so I'm going to back out of that, and let's take a look at the strategy wizard real quick. And I'll show you this while it's coming up. This is the history of the Dow Jones Industrial Average from 1900 through 2012. So you can see that, yes, over time, the stock market goes up. So if you're running a long strategy, it makes sense you understand why it makes sense to run a long strategy. But what's interesting here is you look at, this is 2007 here, and then here we are today. We've broken through that. But how do you handle these down periods? And really, what's great about the robotic trader is, it's all money management. So if you have an ability to buy more stock at a discount, that's really what the robotic trader is going to do for you. So you look at, this period of time here, would have bought more stock and then sold it. And then, you're buying and selling all the way up. It comes back down, you buy a lot more stock, and then it rides back up and you do real well. So I just thought this was kind of an interesting graph. I hope this is helpful for a few of you. All right, so let's go back to the strategy wizard here, and what I'm going to do is, why don't we start by showing you a couple of things. Now, if you start your robotic trader and you do not see these strategies and you want to start with the Dow 30 strategy, what I want you to do is copy the strategy, and here's how you do it. You click Options here, and you click Copy Strategy, and you go up to the top here where it says Copy Strategy From. And then all you're going to do is hit N, hit the letter N, and then you're going to use your down arrow key to go to New User 2 at cool-trade.com. And then now you have the ability to copy any of these strategies that I'm showing you and pull them into yours. So here, Dow 30 long for simulating. We'll just go ahead and pull this over to this one. And then you just name it whatever you want, and then if you want to put some notes here, you can, and you click Copy Strategy. So I can't copy from the same place, but if you want to copy these strategies, you just go to New User 2 at cool-trade.com. Now, if you want to go ahead and look through the community board and try to identify other strategies and see what other people are doing out in the community, you have the ability to do that. You can just use the up and down arrow keys here, and you can take a look at other strategies that are available. Here's the conservative long strategy, and this was a very popular strategy for a very long time. And this one here, you can see all the rules in here. This one here was really trying to get the planets to line up before it would buy any stocks. It's got over 50 rules in it, the robotic trader will follow, and it's scanning through all 8,000 stocks, deciding which ones to buy and sell. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. Let's see. Some folks are willing to show their strategies and their results, and let me see if I can find one here for you. All right. Okay, so here's a good example. So this person here is somebody in the community that's willing to share their strategy and their results. So this one is called Danny C. Funds, using 25,000. Their average monthly return was $2,695. So if you were interested in that particular strategy, you could just click Print Strategy, and you could look at it. Looks like he's trading 1,000 share lots. And he's looking at stocks that close price is less than or equal to $7, close price is greater than or equal to $1. So he's looking at stocks between $1 and $7, and those are the ones that he's trading. So, that's how you do that. I just want to show you how to do that. I don't want to get into this too much, but that's how you do it. All right. Now, if you want to share your strategies with other people, you can just go to Maintain Friends List, which is under the File button. And if you just put a check mark next to this box, allow all CoolTrade members to copy my strategies, then other people in the community will be able to see it and share. Now, if you just want to share with some of your friends who are also running the software, you can put their email addresses in here, and then you can add it by clicking Add Email Name. And then that email address will get added, and then he'll be able to see your strategy. All right, I took enough time on that. Let's go ahead and move forward and take a look at the strategy wizard. I appreciate your time on a Saturday here. I hope this is helpful to you. And I'll also be available if you want to email me questions to nick@CoolTraderPro.com. I can answer questions for you. All right, so here's the strategy wizard. And once you once you go into the strategy wizard, the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that your times are correct. So we have our open new position time range. So this particular auto trader is set for East Coast time. So the market opens at 9:30 a.m. So start checking to open new positions at 9:30 a.m. Stop checking to open new positions at 3:30 p.m. Okay? So what that means is from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., the robotic trader is looking to open new positions. So the market closes at 4, but we don't want to open up any new positions after, 3:30. So that's what that's set for. Then we have our add shares to existing position time range. Between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m., we're looking to add shares to existing positions. So if you're running a strategy and you're adding to positions between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m., the robotic trader is looking to add to positions if the rules are true. Now we have the close position time range. From 9:30 a.m. to 3:58 p.m., the robotic trader is looking to close positions. So it's always looking to take profit between 9:30 a.m. and 3:58 p.m. So that's that one. Now we have two other times down here that are important. We have close open positions that have reached their goal. So at 3:45, 15 minutes before the market closes, we're going to go ahead and close out any positions that have reached their goal. And then we've got close open positions that have made this much profit. Remember, the auto trader is all about keep taking profit. So you can see here at 3:50, 10 minutes before the market closes, the robotic trader is going to take any profits that are up above $50. Now, to adjust that, you just click on it and you can change it. If you want $60 or $70, $80, whatever it is, you can adjust that right there. Now, when you get done making sure that your times are in there correctly, and please make sure you pay attention to AM and PM over to the right here, you click Verify Start Times. So all times appear to be okay. If one of your times is off or you have AMs and PMs mixed up, it's going to tell you, and then you just have to adjust it and make sure that it says all times appear to be okay at the end of that. All right. So now we're still on Auto Trader Preferences 1 here. Let's go back and look at this. So strategy name. If you want to change the name of the strategy, you can just do it in this box here. Comments. If you want to make comments here or take notes on your strategy, you can do that here. And then let's go ahead and skip down to trading shares. You can see it says 100 shares per trade, max shares to purchase 1,000 shares per symbol. So if you remember, this one is trading Dow stock. So what that means is Microsoft, Pfizer, Merck, JP Morgan, they'd have to go out of business for us to have 1,000 shares. But it's set up to always be in the game, always be buying and selling. So if they drop, if one of those companies were to go out of business, the worst case scenario is that we have 1,000 shares. So, if we bought a stock for 25, it drops, we buy more, it drops, we buy more, it drops, we buy more, and we write it all the way down. The worst case is that we have 1,000 shares. So, it's not the end of the world if that happens, but then when you look at all of the trading that you did along the way, you probably didn't lose money and you're probably still profitable over time. So if you want to adjust the number of shares, you do that here very easily. It's just point and click. So if you want to trade fewer stocks and trade more shares, you can. So we've got a lot of folks that'll trade 500 shares of Bank of America or 1,000 shares of Bank of America, and they simply just check that and just tell the robotic trader how many shares to trade. So that's how that works. So max shares, just to reiterate on that, is how many shares you're willing to own of any particular stock. So if you want to set it for 500 shares, you could. If you want to set it for more, you can. So that's how that works. Now, you've got a tremendous amount of flexibility. I'm just going to spend a few minutes on this. Lot size based on fixed dollar amount. So this one here, if you want to give your robotic trader further definition, you can tell the robotic trader, don't spend more than, say, $3,000 for any given stock position. And then maximum investment per stock symbol, you can adjust that as well. So if you're adding to your position, you can tell the robotic trader what's the most money you're willing to spend on any given symbol. And then you can set your minimum shares and your maximum shares. It's all pretty self-explanatory if you want to play with that. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of here. Now, the next one here, you see max symbols to purchase, and you can see that this says 6. Each one of these robotic traders will manage up to 100 positions for you, and you just tell the robotic trader how many stocks you want it to buy, and it will manage up to $2 million. But now the most important thing that, if you don't leave here understanding anything else, this is the most important thing. It's all about money management. So the key to being successful with your auto trader is always be in the game, always be buying and selling. So you never want to buy more stocks than you can then you can afford to let the strategy play out. So what I mean by that is if you have $50,000 and you spend, let's say that you buy 20 stocks with your 50,000, fine. You bought 20 stocks and you spent your $50,000. But now you have a problem. What do you do if the market goes down? You can't add to your positions. You can't stay in the game buying and selling. So, you want to make sure that you limit the number of stocks that you buy and start conservatively and start slow. And then, as you get more familiar and as you get more comfortable in understanding the concepts and everything, then, you can get a little more aggressive. But just always start conservative. Let the market come to you. It's not a race. It's the stock market. It's always going to be here. And just let the robotic trader do its thing and always be in the game, always be buying and selling. So make sure that you have enough money for when that next correction happens so that you're able to capitalize on it and make money when that next correction happens. Okay, so that's that. I'm not going to cover these, so we've pretty much covered everything that's important on this one. We'll flip forward to the watch list rules. And there's a couple of important things that I'd like to go through with you here. We've got our exchanges here. So you can see Amex, NASDAQ, and NYSE. So any stocks that are listed on the Amex, NASDAQ, or NYSE, the robotic trader can trade. So there's actually about 7,800 of them. And, you can build a pretty sophisticated strategy and let the robotic trader scan through them and look for opportunities. Now, we've also automated Australia, Hong Kong, India, Singapore, and Toronto. The one important thing I want you to know here is if you're going to trade those exchanges, then you need to use Interactive Brokers. So Interactive Brokers supports these particular exchanges and works great with CoolTrade. Now, next one is Forex. If you want to trade currency, you check this box here, but we're not going to talk about that today. And then we've got our sectors here. So here we've got our stocks, and then we've got our sectors. And you can see that I've got the Dow 30 checked here. And so what the robotic trader is doing is just looking at the Dow 30. And then what it's doing is it's looking at, you can see the first rule here. Yesterday's close price is less than $30, okay? So we've got 7 stocks, which are Alcoa, Bank of America, Cisco, GE, HPQ, Intel, and Microsoft. So the robotic trader just applied that very simple rule and narrowed those Dow 30 stocks down to 7 of them. So that means that these 7 stocks are less than $30. Now let's go ahead and I'm just going to show you real quickly. If you want to modify that and you want to say you want to look at Dow 30 stocks less than $50, you can do that by changing this number here to 50. You click delete, and you can see when I deleted that rule, we went back to 30, and here's all 30 of the Dow stocks. Now we click add rule, And now we have 14 stocks that are between yesterday's close price is less than 50. So there's 14 stocks that are less than $50, and they're all listed right here. All right, now I'm going to show you a couple other things really quickly. So let's say that we wanted stocks between $20 and $30. Let's do that. All right, so let's say that yesterday's close price is, let's say, less than 30. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to add that. So we have yesterday's close price is less than $30. And this is all just point and click. So you find the rule that you want. And you say less than, greater than, less than, or equal to. And you just choose the variable you want. And, you add the rule. So let's say, okay, so less than 30. And then we're going to say yesterday's close price is greater than 20. So we'll go ahead and add that rule. Now we're just looking at stocks between $20 and $30, and there's actually 5 stocks on the Dow between 20 and 30. Cisco, GE, HPQ, Intel, and Microsoft. Now let's say that you want more stocks and you want to add the NASDAQ 100. Now we have 11. Now let's say we want to add the S&P 100. Now we have 18 stocks, and they're all listed over here to the right. So that's how that works. That's the simplest form of creating rules. But that's a great way to identify if you just want to trade stocks between $20 and $30 or between $10 and $20. You can do that here. I'll show you how to add another rule. Yesterday's volume is greater than, let's say, 1 million shares. I'll add that rule. So we lost 1 stock out of that group. So now we have 17. Now let's say that we want to find stocks that are trending upwards. So let's say we want the 5, and I'm going to just show, for those of you that are more advanced, I'm going to show this to you. For those of you that are new to this, don't worry about it. We'll have more advanced training for you as we move forward here. That'll be rolling out in the next couple weeks. So let's say you want the 5-day simple moving average greater than the 18. And I'm getting ready to roll out Stock Market 101. Which I've been working on all week. And Stock Market 101 is going to talk to you, it will be a class on what these indicators are, how they work, and how to best utilize them. So I'm getting ready to roll that class out. So for those of you where this is all brand new to you, you'll be able to take that class and you'll be experts in no time if you want to learn it. We have so many people that just want a system that works, turn it on and walk away, and we have that. And then we have a lot of folks that want to understand the nuts and bolts. So what I did here is the 5-day simple moving average is greater than the 18-day, and now we have 12 stocks. So what that means is that we're looking for stocks that are trending upwards. So I'm going to leave that alone for now, and I'm just going to go ahead. If you want to delete the rules, you can just do that here. And I'm just going to go back to the Dow 30 that I had before. And there we go. So I'm back to my 7 stocks. Now, let's talk about this real quick. If you want to put in your own stocks, you can do that here. So if you just want to, hand pick your own stocks, you can enter them into this box here. And then what it's going to do is if you click this box, add my portfolio to the watch list here. Just check that box and use my portfolio or symbol files only. You can check that there. So what that means is, let's say that you had 5 stocks that you really loved that you wanted the robotic trader to trade. You just enter those 5 stocks here, you click verify symbols, and then check these 2 boxes, and now the robotic trader is only going to trade those 5 stocks for you, or however many you want to put in there. Now, let's go to the next tab, which is the Open New Positions tab. And I've got 2 very simple rules in here. Today's current price is greater than today's open price. So that means that the stock is going up. And then we've got the next one here, which is today's open price is greater than yesterday's close price. So that's just two very simple rules, and all that's telling us is that the stock is trending up at the time that we bought it. So we told the robotic trader, don't open the position if the stock is trending down in the morning. So that's just two examples of two rules, but you can do whatever you want. For those of you that are on the call that are sophisticated traders, there's tons of stuff for you to work with here. Candles, Bollinger Bands, MACD, stochastics, parabolic SAR. All of this is in here. My personal opinion is keep it simple. The simpler the strategy, the better it works. But you can do whatever you want. If you want to try and solve the stock market, you can. You can try and create a strategy to do that. But what I've learned over the last 2.5 years of working with the robotic trader is that, I keep it simple, and I set up a strategy where I'm always in the game, always buying and selling, and this is a long-term system, and it works great, and I just leave it alone. All right, so then we go to tab 4, which is the Add to Current Positions tab. So what I want to cover on this particular one here is my same symbol lowest trade price move is greater than the value of my same symbol highest trade price percent. Okay, so what I want to say here is this rule is in here. You don't have to ever rewrite the rule. All you really need to know is how to change this box here. So the way this strategy is set up is if Microsoft drops 5% or Pfizer or Merck or any of those other stocks, if they drop 5%, then the robotic trader is going to add another position. If you want to get more conservative, you could change that to 10%. And all you got to do is change that to 10, click delete, and then click add rule, and now you can see that it is 10%. Now, if you want to get more aggressive than 5%, then you could change that to 3%. All you need to do is click delete rule, add rule, and now you can see that the robotic trader will be adding on 3% drops, which is going to give you more activity, but you want to make sure that you're not going to put yourself in a situation where you burn up all of your, you use up all of your funds, and you're in a position where you can't stay in the game and you end up in prey mode. You always want to stay out of prey mode with this. All right, so I'm just going to flip that back to where it was set, and there we go. Now, if you want to bring in your open position rules, you got two buttons here. You can just do that. You can click copy my open position rules, and you can see that it brought them in. So what that means is once it drops 5%, then the robotic trader is going to look at this rule. It's going to say, okay, it's down more than 5%, but it appears to be trending up, and these two rules would need to be true, and then it'll open up another position. So that's that one. All right, we're almost done. You guys have been so great, so patient. Appreciate it. Let's look at the exit trade rules here. We're not going to talk about this one today. I'll talk about this in more advanced training for those of you that are interested. Our exit rules are really our profit requirements. So let's look at this screen real quick. We have our profit requirements tab here, which is tab 6. This is where you tell the robotic trader how much money you want to make. So this particular one, you can see it's set at 8% of entry price and a minimum amount of 60 cents. Okay. Once it reaches that 8% and minimum of 60, it doesn't just close it out. It's going to ride through that profit goal, and it's going to wait for the stock to pull back once it pulls back 4 cents, then it's going to close out the position and take the profit. That way it's not leaving any money on the table. It's going to continue to ride up and wait for a pullback, then it'll close it out and take the profit. Okay? Now, really what I want to cover here is a lot of folks would like to work off of a fixed Okay, are you still with me? All right. All right. So a lot of people will like to change the profit goal per share here, and you can set this for a fixed dollar amount. So if you want to make $1, let's just say, you can just tell the robotic trader, hey, my profit goal is $1. All right, so set at $1. So you can tell the robotic trader, I want to make $1. That's my goal. And then you can set your pullback after reaching profit goal for whatever you want. So once it gets to $1, the robotic trader is going to put a Y next to the symbol, which is going to indicate we've reached our profit goal, and it's going to ride through it, and it's going to pull back 4 cents. Once it pulls back, it's going to close out the position and take the profit. All right, now let's look at the start profit protection. So let's say that you've got 100 shares and your goal is to make $1 on a stock. But let's say that, once it goes up 50 cents, let's say it goes up 50 cents in the morning and then it goes back down in the afternoon, which happens all the time. So what you can do is you could use this feature called profit protection. And this is a really neat feature. It's about 1,000 lines of code. And what this does is, let's say that we get to half of our profit goal, which is 50 cents, which if you had 100 shares would be $50. Let's say that you're not necessarily thrilled with that. You wanted to make $1, but you don't want to lose the 50 bucks. So you set the profit protection for 50 cents. So on 100 shares, that's $50. And then what happens is the robotic trader is going to put a P next to the stock. And what it's going to do is continue to ride that stock up until it pulls back, and then it's going to take the profit. So this might go from 50 cents up to 62 cents, let's say, for example, and then turn around and start heading the other way. Well, what's going to happen is the robotic trader is going to close out that position and take that profit, before it drops, when it turns around and starts heading down. It's going to close it out and take that profit. Okay. Also, with the profit protection, so it's set at 50 cents. It's what's called a floating variable stop loss. So it'll continue to tighten up as it gets closer to the profit goal. And really the most important thing to understand is, if the position reverses, it's going to close it out and take the profit. All right, so that's that one. Then we've got our stop loss here. If you want to use a stop loss, you can. We're not using them on this particular strategy. The reason that they're not being used is we don't think that the Dow 30 type companies are going to, go out of business. So these are the most popular, strategies for simulating. So the theory is behind it that, Microsoft, Intel, Pfizer, Merck, these types of companies aren't going anywhere, so we don't use them. But if you're trading more volatile stocks and you want to use the stop loss, you can. And you can notice here it says per share. So let's say that you wanted to set your stop loss for $5. All you got to do is scroll down to $5 and you could set that. So that's how that works. Or you can work off a percentage here. So if you wanted to say 5% or whatever it is, you can do that. Now the next box here is a trailing stop loss. And what this is the trade will exit if the price drops from the highest price it achieved during the trade. So it's available if you want to use that. And then we've got the re-entry pullback per share. So let's say that you just took $1 profit on Microsoft, for example. Let's say that you don't want to buy Microsoft again right away. You want to wait until it pulls back. Well, all you got to do is use the re-entry pullback feature, and then during what it's going to do is wait for that stock to pull back before it opens up another position. So let me just find that here. All right, so let's just say, for example, you wanted it to pull back 20 cents before you open up another position. Very cool feature, very powerful feature. Remember, the robotic trader is all about taking profit, keep taking profit, keep taking profit. And really, all of these features are designed here, to just keep taking money. And you can see, remember this one, anything up more than $50 at the end of the day, it's just going to take it. And you can play with these parameters. You're going to have your own ideas and things that you're going to want to do. to customize them as you learn more about the trader and you get more comfortable with it. But that's going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I can maybe answer a couple of questions here. Let me take a look. And just so that you know, Stock Market 101, the basics training class, I'm just getting that finished up, so look for that. Should be in the next week or two. I'll get that out. So that'll be very powerful and very helpful for folks that are new to trading. And then we're going to have training module 3, which is CoolTrade concepts. So that people can understand, the concepts behind the strategies. Okay. All right. Let me see if I've got some strategies here. Lewis, I'll give you a call. All right, how do I know that the rules in a strategy that I find in the wizard copy search are the same ones that were in use for the statistics? Because couldn't someone start with some rules and then tweak them at some point during the time of their simulation? Yeah, they could. With those strategies that you can copy from the community board, all that CoolTrade does is it actually there is a safety valve in there just to explain this. So let's say that you find a strategy in the community board and you like the returns there. Well, what CoolTrade does is if they make a change to that strategy, they get dropped down to the bottom of the queue again. So they wouldn't be, well, all that you would have to do is copy the strategy and start running it in simulation mode, and then take a look at this, try to analyze the stocks that the strategy is selecting, analyze the rules, take a look at the rules, and see if they make sense to you. If they make sense to you and it's buying stocks that you agree with, then you can let it carry out. But if you don't agree with it, then certainly you don't have to. But really, that's what simulation mode is for, so that you can try them out, get a feel for it, and you just got to take a little time to understand the rules in there. But we don't guarantee any of the strategies that other customers provide on the community board. We just, there's so many people. One of the great things about the community board is sharing, because people are sharing and helping one another, which is great. But we never know if somebody has a harebrained idea, and that harebrained idea turns out to work really well for a short period of time, but then over the long haul doesn't work. So you just have to use caution with that. Another question regarding statistics with real money. Okay, so we are a software company. We cannot provide you with statistics from live accounts, and that comes from the SEC. I'd love to show you, some of the things that we do, that I do, Carrie does, Ed does. I'd love to show you, what we've done with real accounts, but we can't as a software company, and that's an SEC determination. Remember, we're just a software company. We're not registered investment advisors. We're not here to tell anyone what to do with their money. We're just simply providing a software tool that will allow people to manage their own money. All right, let me see if I can find a couple more questions. All right, Alice, your points are noted, and appreciate the feedback. And the training is recorded. Okay. Yeah, GoToMeeting froze a couple times, and my apologies for that, but I think we got it. All right. So that's all the questions. I really appreciate everybody's time today on a beautiful Saturday, at least here here in Scottsdale. And please look for the new training modules that will be coming out. I'm going to try and make it a heck of a lot more fun and a heck of a lot more interesting with Stock Market 101, which will just go through stock market terminology and concepts. So I'm just wrapping that up, and I'll get it out to you. And I'm going to try and do that in more of a classroom setting, so it'll be fun and a powerful educational tool. You know, the way I look at it is it's the CoolTrade community against the world, and we want to share as much powerful information as we can, and you know, bring in as many people as we can to help out and teach them about, you know, this methodology and way of looking at the market, and teach them how to leverage technology and innovation. And I greatly appreciate everyone's time today, and with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.